Right, good morning, welcome back. Okay, day 33 Hayabusa build and back on the tail subframe with a bit more fun in store for today. Now I've got the frame spars to do today from the back section to the tank, the bit I have to actually sit on. They need a slight curve inwards towards each other to make it comfortable to sit on, so your legs to drop either side, but they need to be straight to follow the lines of calf racer design. And that same goes for this loop. That's got to be bent down very slightly so it's flat. That's why I've dropped it off the paddock stand, because sitting on it the bike was actually itself was jacked up at the back. Now the bike's on the ground, both tyres are on the deck. Now I can set that to the exact height so it follows the line of the ground, which I think is essential for that look of a calf racer. But there we are, that's just a lot of old chat. Today I've got to bend some pipe in that way that I've devised with the spanner and the blowtorch. It is very much a ghetto fix, but as you saw, with the right amount of patience and an awful lot of effort, it works. I haven't got a pipe bender at the moment. Thank you to all of you who suggested the plumber's pipe bender, but those things are usually for copper pipe, which is quite soft, and they are quite lightweight. And I find that with stainless steel tubing, the amount of effort, the sheer force I was having to put into that pipe to bend it, I really don't think that one of those pipe benders would work. They are really affordable, but if I went and bought one and I found it didn't work for me, that would be a waste of money, and we do have to focus our budget the best way we possibly can. So I think a proper heavyweight metal working pipe bender is somewhere in the future yet, but for now I'll be using my fabulous ghetto fix with the big bad spanner and the blowtorch. It seems to work. It's just all about the patience and putting in the grunt effort. But at the end of it, I know I'll have a result. I hope I'll have a result to be proud of. Anyway, that's sort of old chat. Let's just get on with it. Welcome back. So the task now is keeping that level, bending one and then the other to the exact same so it stays level, is to bend them down, but not absolutely flat. And I've said loads of times that this needs to be bent down now so they're flat and they follow the line of the ground. It needs to be just very slightly up, and I mean almost unnoticeably so, just a degree or two, so that when you sit on the bike, if the rear, which inevitably most bikes, the rear sags just a little bit more than the front when you're sitting on the bike. So when I sit on it, I don't want it riding up the road, dragging its ass like an aged dog. So it's got to be right. It's got to look absolutely flat when I'm sitting on it. If that means that it's a little bit high when I get off, it makes no odds. That's irrelevant. Fact is, it's going to need to be just a little bit up from dead level. So let's just get on with that. Level. Right, this tubing, when I went and got it, from the dump, I managed to find 3 pieces in all. The one I used for the loop, plus this bit, plus this big bit as well, with a big plate welded on the end of it. I think it was from a shop fit. kind of like a food grade stuff. Anyway, I just want to measure the thickness of it. It is understandable now why it's hard to bend. That is 1.5 mil thick, which is seriously tough and great as well, because it's going to make easy work welding. It won't blow through quite so easy as 1 mil. And if you look at the subframe on a Bandit 1200, I know from bitter experience, then that is 1 mil mild steel, 1 millimeter thick, the tubing on the back of your 1200 Bandit, and that's all they make the tail from. So this will be 1.5 mil and stainless tubing. So it ain't going anywhere once it's done. Just got to get it done, get it bent into that shape in the first place. Right, compound bends. The next bit, I've got to bend the spars that go from the loop to the tank. Just those two pieces I'm going to attempt today. Okay, I'm going to bend this now. 2 bends, one for a little bit to get it into the shape, and then one to go forward and down. So it's quite a, it's going to bend that way, then a bend that way. So it's going to be loads of fun. Let's see how much of this I can bugger up. Need the tank out of the way now for some leverage. Need to be able to measure this distance, so I need the tank for measurement, but I can't get the pipes in. I need to leave them long so I can manipulate them. So tank on, tank off. Here we go. Right, that's better. Okay. Right, there we are. That's got the bends done, 3 bends in each one, and they bring it in exactly the same toe in as the 2 frame tubes and exactly the same curve down, except for at the back edge I'm going to slot these in a second and shroud them over the top of the factory frame so it sits over it ready to weld to the rear loop in the future. But as it comes forward, I'm going to bring it up to sit on top of the factory frame, thus raising the seat a little bit, because I haven't got the big fat factory pillow that was on it now. I don't want it that high, but I do need it a little higher than just a bare frame. That's no good. When I come up above that, which will be about 1.5 inches higher, then with an inch and a half seat, I should be back to standard height for absolute comfort. But there we are. We won't know till we get there. But the bends are correct, brings me forward, down, in and back out. So I think 4 bends in all. Nice little bit of compound bending there. And no serious kinks. There's one there, but it's not too bad. It's all getting welded to this frame in the end anyway, so it's not the end of the world. And these big fat stainless steel tubes, very forgiving. I can put riv nuts in those and all sorts to hold the panel work on. Anyway, that's a lot of chat. Let's slot these out so they fit on properly. Right, there we are. Well, that's the basics done. I think everything's straight. Let's clean them up with the mop, put them back on, mock them up properly and see if everything's straight, level, square and true. Fingers crossed. Awesome. Right, okay, that's the seat rails done. 6 hours, 6 bends and 2 rails. A lot of work, but that's it done. Tick, out the way. Classically and quite correctly, they're tapered at the front and then outwards towards the back. That gives you the comfort when you're seated and riding along, and it means you put your feet down, you've got a narrow area at the front to sit forward. So I'm really happy that I've picked up basically the same design as the bike itself. These rails underneath, I've copied the line of them, so hopefully that's going to be a nice comfortable bike to ride. And bringing this line round here, that means that this whole rail will be one piece, and in the future I'll just have a seat in the centre that I can pop out and access the battery if I need to. Really, really simple. Now the fuses are all at the front, so there's nothing to worry about getting under here. Things like the regulator rectifier that can go up inside here, I just need to put a little plate inside there, completely out of sight, box it in underneath, and it will never be seen again. It will just be something you only see if you unscrew a panel to access it for whatever reason you might need to. Just trying to make this good in terms of its functionality as well as its design. So talking about that in the next video. The next one is going to be 2 more curbs to make, I'm afraid. I've got one to go round the back of the tank, lock these off to the correct length. They're a little bit too long at the moment. Once that's done, notch them in. That's a little bit of fun and games with the sanding disc, just notching them so they all fit together. Take those in place, and then another curve to make here for my backstop, which is really important. That defines the Calf Racer styling. And once that's done, really, I think I've got my basic outline silhouette done. Then a little bit of tidying up after that. So a few videos down the line, we're into all this underneath. A few people asked about these frames here. What I'm going to do with that, I think, is probably lop off these little support bars in the middle. I don't really need them. And then I can lift these 2 bars up and just mount them underneath here. Just notch the end of the frame, bring them up to meet the underneath of this frame loop, and that will be one sleek tapered tailpiece all the way back, and it will be self-supporting as well, which I'm really really happy about. I'm really happy with the whole thing so far. It's all gone very well. It's square, it's level, and it's symmetrical, and that's a wonder. It truly is, with the method that was achieved by. I can't believe I've got it so right with such a ridiculous method, but there we are. If you can achieve it like that, then one day in the future when I ever get a pipe bender, I can achieve even more results and perhaps start making bike frames someday. But anyway, let's not run before we can walk. That's it for today. I really appreciate all your awesome support. Thank you for watching. Have a fabulous week. Take it easy, ride safe, and I'll see you for the next one.
Well, I'm standing in the middle of the street with trembling hands. Well, I'm sweating like a dog, waiting for the clock to strike 12. That's the life of an outlaw man. The screams of that dying man's family